Welcome to the CA Performance Management version 3.2 video OpenAPI and QueryBuilder improvements. Whether delivering information to CABI Server, CA Performance Center, or an ever-growing number of dedicated applications or third-party systems, the OpenAPI feature has become an integral method for CA Performance Management to share its data. This video will examine the improvements to OpenAPI and its companion application QueryBuilder in CA Performance Management 3.2. CA Performance Management 3.2 expands its capacity to integrate with external tools and systems by enhancing OpenAPI in several ways. A new function is now available which returns a list of supported metric families per group, and an efficient method has been added to get the number of devices per group. Both of these enhancements offer scalable response times even in very large-scale environments. But perhaps most significantly, version 3.2 introduces the ability for OpenAPI to provide a classification of data previously unavailable through the interface, business hours. By emphasizing performance data during key periods of the day or week and minimizing off-hour data, business hours enable more accurate capacity planning and performance analysis during times of peak demand. By broadening dataset selection to include business hours, version 3.2 OpenAPI greatly expands its ability to realize your data exploration requirements and to access the most actionable data. Let's see how OpenAPI's companion application QueryBuilder supports business hours and offers other improvements in CA Performance Management 3.2. QueryBuilder is a tool built into the data aggregator component of CA Performance Management, which allows you to easily generate an OpenAPI query in the form of an OData URL. These URLs can be used by external applications to obtain a desired set of data from CA Performance Management in a consumable format. Here we're using QueryBuilder to build a query which obtains trend data for CPU utilization for devices located at the Boston site. Opening the time range selector, we can see that there are now a number of additional options allowing precise control of time parameters beyond the basic start time, end time, and granularity settings available in pre-3.2 versions. First, a new duration parameter allows relative time ranges based off the current time, a designated end time, or a designated start time. A drop-down offers a list of most used time durations from 1 hour to 12 months. You can also specify a custom time range. These options make it easy to both specify and shift time periods. Here we'll select a time period of the last 3 days. Returning to the time range selector, we can now see it offers a time zone setting. This allows you to specify times from the perspective of a chosen time zone or the zone of the data aggregator server, which is the default. In version 3.2, time zone selection is greatly simplified since the list of time zones is now organized by UTC offset. The time granularity setting is unchanged from previous versions, offering as-polled, hourly, and daily granularity. We'll use the default server time zone and as-polled data. Finally, the selector now offers several business hour settings to leverage the new OpenAPI business hour capability. In addition to specifying days of the week, you can now specify 2 daily time periods, each in 15-minute increments. The ability to define 2 time periods is especially helpful if your business hour period is interrupted by an off-hour interval, for example, by a lunch hour. Using that example, we specified business hours as every day from 8:15 a.m. until 11:45 a.m. and from 12:30 p.m. until 5 p.m. Exiting the time range selector, you can see that the OData URL has been constructed. This URL encodes all the selected query expression settings, including the new duration, time zone, and business hour values. The Copy to Clipboard link allows for an easy copy and paste workflow to embed this URL in another tool. The URL acts as an OpenAPI query to extract the targeted data from CA Performance Management. Now let's run the query and see the results. Examining the return data for one of the Boston devices, we can see that it only contains filtered values from the 2 specified business hour periods. For example, we can see here that the values show a gap from 11:45 until 12:30. Although business hours were used against trend data in this example, the OpenAPI support of business hours works with aggregate data as well. In fact, all the aggregation functions such as sum, average, min-max, percentiles, projections, and time to value will exclude the appropriate off-hour data across the selected time range. In addition, version 3.2 now allows these aggregation functions to be used in up to 5 expressions within a single query. For more detailed information about CA Performance Management 3.2 OpenAPI or QueryBuilder improvements, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the product page. From there, you can go to the product documentation, visit CA Communities, or see the learning paths.